What is up, Gamer Army? Welcome back to another fun-filled and exciting episode of PsykoGamer. I am your illustrious host, Aubrey, and today we are going to talk about these Collectorcades. Where did the concept come from? Well, we have a couple of websites that are kind of making cabinets very similar to these. So we're going to actually discuss these other people that are not Arcade1up. We're also going to talk about New Wave Toys, and we're also going to talk about the quarter arcades by Numskull. But make sure you hit that like and subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and stay tuned. We're going to talk about the Collectorcades. Right on back. All right, guys, welcome back. Like I said, today we are going to talk about these brand new, kind of unveiled Collectorcades by Arcade1up. But we're also going to do a little bit of comparison with some of these other companies that are making very similar type of cabinets for very similar pricing. In many cases, more, but you are getting, what I could tell, better quality. So as much as I do like the Arcade1up brand by itself, I do think that some of these are going to be not as good a quality as some of these other companies. But we're going to take a look at those. We're also going to take a look at this Gamefly list. So we're going to actually look at this list first, because I know I went over this last month in March, but we're starting to see some things come to fruition that we didn't know before, which kind of gives us that slight little glimmer of hope of 3 of these big titles actually being announced and released later this year. I'm going to switch over to my computer. All right, so as you can see, this is the actual list of games that were leaked out by Gamefly. So ones that we've actually seen get announced, we've seen the Atari Couchcade, we've seen the Golden Tee, we've seen the Pac-Man Couchcade. We've seen all 3 of those so far. Obviously, this one's been released. These ones are on their website right this second. So ones that we haven't seen yet, the Joust Collector-cade. Haven't seen that one yet. We're going to be talking about the Mortal Kombat Collector-cade, and we're also going to talk about the Pac-Man Collector-cade today as well. So there's a few of these that are looking like the list is legitimate and the list is correct. Now, we're going to talk about these first, then we're going to come back to the list. So the first one we're going to take a look at is this Pac-Man Collector-cade. So the Collector-cade, they are trying to kind of make your little small arcade machines. So we're going to just kind of talk about this. This is going to be small size, big fun, huge nostalgia. For fans of retro game and pop culture collectibles, Arcade1up is thrilled to introduce the Collectorcades, here to add a vibrant dose of 80s flair to your shelves. Oh, and yes, they play awesome too, which I doubt because they're so small. Standing 13 inches tall with a brilliant 3.2-inch screen. Now, you're talking like this big. We're not talking about a very big screen at all whatsoever. Your cell phone is going to be bigger than the screen. So, unfortunately, that's just how it is. You can see it's got that vertical screen too. Feature a light-up marquee. So the marquee actually does light up, which is actually pretty impressive for something as small as this is going to be. A rear on-off switch and volume dial, and are powered by just 4 AA batteries. Oh my goodness. They're not even giving you the option to plug these in. So these kind of make me think of some of those little handheld blue Donkey Kong and yellow Pac-Man arcade portable things that they released back in the 80s. I forgot what they're called. I know some of you guys will correct me on that. So if you recall what they're called, just post it down below. Let's start off with this Collectorcade's headliner, the icon of icons, Pac-Man. I know, big shock. They never released Pac-Man games. Gobble up those arcade memories as you steer clear of aggressive ghosts Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. This was the definitive game of the era, instantly recognizable during the 80s and in every decade since. Ready for interstellar action? Also included are the ever-enduring classics Galaga and Galaxian. Take control of your personal space, that's outer space, and have a blast, literally. It's time to play again with Arcade1up Collectorcades, featuring 16-bit versions of your favorite arcade titles. Gorgeous design, excellent arcade action, and an amazing addition to any retro gaming enthusiast game room, office, or collectible room. So they are saying that these are 16-bit versions. I think when these originally came out, they were a lot lower than that. I don't even think they were 8-bit. So it doesn't make me think that they're releasing these with arcade ROMs. It makes me think that they're releasing them with console ROMs on these. So that's one thing that I'm kind of about. But I mean, I guess it doesn't matter how it's going to look. It's going to be a tiny screen, so they probably have to actually get something a little bit nicer in there in terms of the quality of them. So this is just the front of the machine. So you see you actually have you have your Ghost, you have your Pac-Man, you have just some basic little designs in there that look like you're playing Tetris. You have your Pac-Man, Galaga, and Galaxian on the front of the actual mini cabinet, I guess, the Collector-cade. Next picture, we got the side that has the Ghost, Pac-Man, and your actual Pac-Man logo, bright yellow, based off of the originals. And the funny thing that I'm looking at when it comes to this particular picture, this is a great picture because you can see where this is. Look where she's looking. She is not looking at that screen at all. Come on, really? I think they may have used this as a stock photo for a partycade or something to that effect. So it just kind of made me laugh when I first saw this picture. I was like, man, her eyes are not even anywhere close to that screen. Her eyes are facing right there. His eyes might be looking at the very top of the cabinet. He's not even looking at the screen. Next screen, you got your typical 45-degree angle right there. Got your nice orange, reddish pinstripes there. Got your other side. And we've got a look straight down at your buttons. Your 1 and 2 players. Your 4 omnidirectional joystick, and you have your 1 button for playing your Galaga and Galaxian and shooting the ships. And there's the other 45-degree angle, and there's your straight down look right there. I do still kind of like the little Pac-Man, pellets and power pellets going around the actual buttons. Kind of a cool little feature there. And then there's the cheesy look again. So this is the Pac-Man Collector-cade. Now, they've actually got 2 that we're showing off. I have not seen the Joust one yet, so keep in mind, these are just now starting to trickle out. Now, are you able to pre-order these? No, we're not able to pre-order these in the United States yet. This is actually a UK website called game.co.uk. You can pre-order it now for £69.99, which apparently translates to about $99.99, give or take, in American currency. So if you are looking to pre-order it, you still got some time to wait for the US. Over here, we have Mortal Kombat, which is basically, I'm not going to read everything here, but this is going to have, it says Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat 2, and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which I don't know if that's a typo or not, but I guess it's not because it shows it on the front. You got Mortal Kombat 3 and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. It's kind of redundant in that case, isn't it? Because you just, it's the same game, realistically, just with more people. It's what it boils down to. So we're just going to take a look at the pictures we got here. You got your Ultimate MK3, and Mortal Kombat 2. They could have tossed Mortal Kombat 1 on there, I think. Just out of spite, I think. And we are looking at the front 45-degree angle. You got kind of a front look there. You have your 6-button layout, which to me, that would be a good look for, say, Street Fighter, or really any game that supports fighting in general. You got Master Raiden on the side there with your MK2 logo. You got all the lightning. Got your other side that looks exactly the same. Big shock. There's your other 45-degree angle. And there's your straight down look, just so you can get a little closer zoom in on there. one player. I wonder if these can actually be maybe linked together to play one, maybe two players. Would be kind of cool. You got your high punch block, high kick, run, low punch, and low kick when it comes to all of those lovely buttons for Mortal Kombat. So I can already see people taking these, tearing them apart, and modding them to put really any kind of game that they want to on these, especially your fighting games. Now, they're also saying these are 16-bit versions of these as well. They had 16 bits. I thought the 32 bits were like your Mortal Kombat 2 and your Mortal Kombat 3s. I could be wrong. I apologize if I am. But, you know, it is cool that these things are coming out. 13 inches is not very big, so it's not going to take up that much room when it comes to the amount of space that you have. Now, if you have cabinets, kind of like I have back behind me, those little 1 foot square containers that have 4, 6, or 8 slots, then they would be really nice to have on top of those particular cabinets. Now, other companies, a couple of the big ones that are out there, you do have New Wave Toys. New Wave Toys is another company that actually is making these type of cabinets. As you can see, you have the Replicades. So you got a Cubert Replicade right here. They have a lot of really cool things, power banks that kind of look like 80s Walkman and things like that. So you got a mini arcade stick. You have 1942, the X Replicades. You have little machines. They're charging machines, but it kind of gives you the feel of having an actual little mini arcade in your home. I've seen people take these things and they put action figures to them because they're about the same size, or they're the correct size when it comes to those. They do have ones like Street Fighters, which you have this guy, which is really sold out. And you can actually buy a mini fight stick that kind of adds on to it, which is actually really cool. So you can actually have 2 players. If you are looking to buy some of these little guys, they've even got a UV base pad to make it look like you have the carpet of an actual arcade underneath it. So if you are looking to do something like that, these are some really, really cool things to get. They got little puzzles, arcades. So go check them out if you have not been to their website before, newwavetoys.com. I will link it down below so you can actually take a look at it. And I'm going to have links to all these things as well. You have Numskull. Numskull, in my opinion, they are some of the nicest replicas for the size that you're looking at. They're about 1.5 feet tall. So give or take. I have to look at the actual numbers. I think it's about 18 inches tall, though. You can tell just by looking at these little guys, these are small. They are like super small, 1.5 feet. And when you look at the Arcade1ups, being about 13 inches, it's going to dwarf those in comparison. So you look at some of the ones they have. You got Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaxian, Dig Dug, Space Invaders. You got Bubble Bobble. Bubble Bobble just looks great. Galaga, you can have a quarter scale Galaga. But let's look at the Bubble Bobble one. So when we actually click on these, you can see how big it is just from the way this woman is actually holding it. $180. They got user manuals. The issue with these guys, though, as great as these are, which I'm not complaining at all, I'm not kicking and screaming, whenever they sell these ones, whenever they come out, they are hard to get. They sell out so fast. So fully playable cabinet plays the original arcade ROM on a bespoke element emulator. I'm not sure what bespoke emulator is. Probably something that they've custom made to actually run on these particular cabinets, maybe a Linux based one. Portable and displayable, rechargeable internal battery, lets you take it on the go or display at home in a tracked mode. So these are probably some of the nicest ones you're going to get when it comes to these mini micro cabinets. I mean, you can even tell by looking at the buttons here, they really put a lot of care into what they're doing. And these things are big enough that you could actually play them and not murder yourself. Now, maybe 2 players might be a bit more difficult unless you're like 10, but you know, you can shop now. And as you can see, you can go to many of these different retailers. Some of them, like say GameStop, don't know if they still have them or not. So it's a good option to check, but yeah, See, they sell out so fast, you just can't find them anymore when it comes to them. You might get lucky at some of these other places. You got Canada, Australia, the UK. So you got a lot of options to actually buy these. Now, we're going to go back over to this Gamefly list over here and go over that a little bit more. Now, while we have gone over some of these games, obviously, we've got the Mortal Kombat. We've got the Pac-Man Collector K. We have not seen the Joust Collector-cade yet. I have not seen the Pac-Mania Bandai Legacy, unless I'm missing that somewhere. If you guys have seen it, let me know. Super Pac-Man Party-cade, Miss Pac-Man Party-cade. Now, these are going to be brown box ones. So they're going to be like your classic kind of look. Looks like mom and dad's old walls from the 70s and 80s. Particular stools. You got the NBA Shaq arcade. Obviously, that has actually been unveiled with that whole thing with John D. and Shaq. Street Fighter II Champion Turbo Legacy. We haven't seen that yet. Some of these countercades head-to-head and that Miss Pac-Man Legacy, have not seen those yet. Galaga head-to-head, Pac-Man 5 Games countercade. Now, these are the three that I'm interested in. If this list is going as it should be, which a lot of these things we've seen unveiled and announced. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Time Crisis, and NFL Blitz. Those are three of the biggest cabinets most people are screaming for. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I can't wait. Realistically, even though it would be having a Dreamcast ROM, I would almost prefer them to have the Dreamcast ROM in there. But we want to go for as authentic as we possibly can. So they're going to go with the arcade ROM in there. I'm pretty sure they're going to do that. What games are going to come on these? That's the million-dollar question. Time Crisis, there's about 3 or 4 different Time Crisis games that they could toss in there. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, you got all the Street Fighter games. You got Marvel vs. Capcom. You have Marvel's Superheroes. You know, there's so many different titles that you can toss on that one. They could probably put about 6 or 7 or 8 titles on that thing just to make it more appealing, that they've already got the licenses too. It's just a matter of which ones are going to go hand in hand with these. And then, of course, your NFL Blitz. NFL Blitz is a game that people have been dying for somebody to release on an arcade cabinet, as opposed to, hey, I'm just going to mod this cabinet and put 5 billion games on here, and then Blitz can just be one of them, and I'll just buy all the stickers for it. Not exactly the same thing. In terms of this would be an officially licensed NFL game. Why is that significant? It is significant because Electronic Arts owns the rights to pretty much anything gaming related by NFL. That's pretty much what it boils down to. NFL Blitz, they didn't want to keep making the Blitz games because of how violent they could be. I liked them. It's fine. It was an arcade type football game, and it really appealed to a lot of people. You can still find the NFL Blitz arcade games. I think it's like NFL Blitz 99 was like one of the last ones that you actually were able to get. But we haven't had a Blitz game in a very, very long time, and people want to see a new one. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that these games are really officially going to be released? I really hope that they do decide to release these particular cabinets. You know, we look at the list from Gamefly, we compare it with the titles that have already been announced and already been released for pre-order or released for purchase, and it makes us wonder how legitimate this particular list is. This list, it didn't last very long. Once people found out about it, Gamefly deleted within most of the games within about 2 or 3 hours, which by that point, the cat was out of the bag. Yeah, that's a bad analogy, but it works. It works. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that these titles are actually going to come out? Just the glimmer of hope. Small glimmer. But it could be something that maybe somebody might be able to ask that question to John D about, if he has any feedback, or if maybe he might have a wink wink or giving us that glimmer of hope. So that's the $1 million question. Anyway, I appreciate you guys coming out. As always, make sure you hit that like and subscribe and turn on those post notifications, guys. I hope you guys are still enjoying my daily videos that I've been doing. Giving you little tidbits. And, you know, somebody mentioned the other day that they can't wait to see what games came out on their day and what kind of feedback I'm going to actually have on them. So keep checking those out, guys. Give me a little love there. I'm also posting these on Instagram, too. At least the minute shorts or reels, whichever site you're actually going to see them on. So make sure you check those out as well. Hit that like and subscribe, guys, again, guys, and we will see you next time. Game on.